Hit that like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm just saying. Oh, you clipped it? Do we get clips? Have clips happening? If you're on Twitch, you can make little clips of the show and share them. That's a good time. And I believe you can clip the show on YouTube as well. Yes? Okay. Anyways, I wish we could clip it on Instagram. Does anybody know how to do that? We'll figure it out later. Because I've got the long form on there, but so annoying. I wish it was easier, but it's not. Follow the yellow brick road. Thanks, Dave. All right. Peanut butter dickhead. All right. Now, let's see. Is there... Yeah, this isn't long. This is... we covered in the first show earlier today, and if you haven't seen it, please go back and watch it. It's a good time. We covered Brett Baier's interview with Kamala Harris, where she thoroughly dunked on him. Now, let's see what his takeaway was from it. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, this would be Brett Baier. Kamala Harris wanted a viral moment, and she got it, baby.
And the man of the hour joins us now. Brett, good morning to you, and thank you for your time this morning.
Good morning.
You've had 15 hours now to marinate over this. What did?
First of all, what's with the fucking sibilance at Fox News? There was a huge fucking like tooth whistle during Brett Baier's interview, and everybody there is fucking sharp. I don't know who fucking kicked the audio gear there and dislodged one of the plugs or something, but it's fucking awful.
What did you think about how it went?
He's pursing his mouth. That's not going well. He's doing the same thing. She looks panicked. They obviously know she did just fine.
You know, guys, good morning. I left there right after the interview, and I thought, wow, this was really a lot more contentious than I thought it was.
Really? You didn't realize you were being a douchebag? Often douchebags don't know that.
There was a lot of filibustering. I didn't really want to keep on interrupting, but if I didn't...
But you had to.
I thought there were maybe be 4 answers total in the interview. I think I came away...
And you were worried there would be any?
There were moments that clearly she prepared for, that I think she wanted to...
What? She prepared? What you mean? I thought the job of being president was just free balling it. You know what I mean? Just fuck it. Let's see what's doing. You know, you show up to work to be president every morning around 11 o'clock after you've golfed and spanked, one out, knocked one out and maybe shower. Maybe you don't. It's really your president what are they going to do? You got a body man like Walt there. He's got wet naps. You're fine. You roll in there with a handful of Dungeons and Dragons dice, and then you go 1 through 6, and they go 4, and you pull out a 12-sided dice, and then they give you a couple of options on something that happens, and you just roll it, and you go, we're doing number 7. And they go, what's the number 7? You go, figure it out. And then you go back to golfing. I thought isn't that how presidenting is done?
To have the viral moment. And she got it. And I think her campaign was happy with that. I think there were things that Mark played.
Are you happy, though? Are you? Brett, what's going on with you? Why are we always talking about her? Why aren't we talking about your feelings? What exactly are you hiding, Brett?
Played and some other moments where I think a lot of people looking back at the transcript are going to say, wow, that's interesting. It's newsy. It's not what she usually answers. Yeah.
That's what you want from your on-camera interview. If people go back and look at the transcript... Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and they'll do that. Don't worry. I'm sure. Don't worry, Brett. Yeah, we'll read pieces of the transcript, buddy. Great work.
One of the things you talked about at some length was immigration. And if you pull up...
At some length. It was the only thing you wanted to talk about.
Number 1, this is about her reaction, the Biden-Harris reaction to migrant crime.
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases. There's no question about that.
So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying?
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I am so sorry for her loss. Sincerely.
Yeah, but she and what they want is for you to go, I'm sorry I caused this. Cool, print the ad. Like, she's not falling for it, dumb fuck. And also, again, Laken Riley's killer was here because of a special deferment, the DED program that Donald Trump put in his last day in office.
But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in
her?
all fairness, I told you, I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
One thing I noticed is that she didn't really seem to have a way to say, so here's what I'm going to do differently going forward.
She doesn't have to. There's a whole fucking bill, stupid. There's a bill. Here's what she said. She'll sign the border bill. Go look at the border bill. Look at what's in it. Look at how it improves the situation. That's what she'll do differently. And then she says she will faithfully execute the laws of the country, something that Donald Trump has continually failed to do.
Opportunity to do that. That could have been an opportunity missed.
My Lord.
Yeah, and listen, Dana, that's the key thing about immigration is that the 94 executive orders that were rescinded in the first days of the Biden-Harris administration, they opened the door. They took away.
Yeah, by the way, the 94 that they rescinded were not all about immigration, for the record. And the biggest thing that impacted the number of people crossing the border temporarily was the implementation of Title 42. That's what caused the number of people crossing the border. Trump tried to use that as a way of punting people out, using COVID, essentially using Title 42 as a way of knocking people out without adjudicating their case. But when you do that, they can come in as many times as they want without getting a ding on the record that would make it impossible for them to become a citizen later. So you can keep coming back, and it created a fucking revolving door at the border. Kick somebody out, they come back in. Kick somebody out, they come back in. The first time they're up there, they pay $8,000 to cross the border. The next time they don't have $8,000 anymore, so they carry drugs, or they help transport somebody else across, or they carry goods, or they carry guns, or whatever, or bring guns back, or send shit from the inside. They pack up money and mail it back. They're in charge of picking up packages and delivering them to somebody else. They're given these like errands inside the country, delivering drugs or guns or money, that kind of stuff, so that they can get, as a payment to the coyote. And then they get kicked out, same shit. And each time they have to go back over, the debt gets higher. They have to do worse shit if they want to get into the country. And at that point, especially if they have a child that's already in the country that they're just trying to get to, they'll do next to anything just to get fucking in here.
Away the catch and release. They took away Remain in Mexico.
Title 42 eliminated Remain in Mexico. You didn't have to remain in Mexico. You didn't get a ding on your record for crossing the border under Title 42. You do under Title 8. Title 8, you're adjudicated, you get kicked out, you try to come back in, there's jail time. Title 42, they kick you out, they don't bother to check you. So since you haven't received any kind of legal representation, you haven't gone through any kind of a system, you haven't, there's no mark on your record. So you can just keep trying. And that created a fucking, one of those, human walkways and a revolving door where they just come across and back, and come across and back, and come across and back. And nobody could do anything about it.
And that's the whole thing.
That's why we have so many, you'll hear the word encounter a lot. You'll hear encounter all over the place. The reason they say encounter, because it's the same person 5 times.
I mean, she wants to talk about this bill that they dropped first, which was kind of an amnesty bill to pat this.
Was it kind of an amnesty, but was it kind of? Well, here, let's, shall we look it up? The Citizenship Act of 2021. The U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. There you go. Is a immigration reform proposal. U.S. has been introduced in both House and Senate. Proposal will provide a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants, implement a new strategy for physical security at the southern border, and introduce very modest changes to the visa system. The United States immigration system faces 2 challenges. Last time, where is this? This is the American Action Forum, so that'll be the right-wing take on it. let's find out. Here you go. Here you go. January 20th, 2021. Fact sheet. President Biden sends immigration bill to Congress as part of his commitment to modernize our immigration system. Sending a bill to Congress on day one to restore humanity and American values to our immigration system. Bill provides hardworking people who enrich our communities every day have lived here for years, in some cases for decades. That's the DACA thing. Provide pathways to citizenship and strengthen our labor protections. Create an earned roadmap to citizenship for undocumented individuals. The bill allows undocumented individuals to apply for temporary legal status with the ability to apply for green cards after 5 years if they pass criminal and national security background checks and pay their taxes. Dreamers, TPS holders, and immigrant farm workers who meet specific requirements are eligible for green cards immediately under the legislation. After 3 years, all green card holders who pass additional background checks and demonstrate knowledge of English and U.S. civics can apply to become citizens. Applicants must be physically present in the United States on or before January 1st, 2021. On or before January 2021. This is for people already in the country. This has nothing to do with the people that would come. This would not create a get into the country free card. This only applied to people who were there on or before January 1st, 2021, before Biden takes office. It does not apply to anybody after he takes office. The Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security may waive the presence requirement for those deported on or after January 20, 2017 who were physically present for at least 3 years prior to removal for family unity and other humanitarian purposes. Keep families together. The bill reforms the family-based immigration system by clearing backlogs, recapturing unused visas, eliminating lengthy wait times, and increasing per-country visa caps. It also eliminates the so-called 3 or 10-year bars and other provisions that keep families apart. Embrace diversity. The bill includes the No Ban Act that prohibits discrimination based on religion and limits presidential authority to issue future bans. And this is why a bunch of them shut it down, is because they didn't want to ban based on a religious test, which is a violation of the Constitution anyways. So it would hold up, and Trump's ban would not. The bill also increases diversity visas to 80,000 from 55. Promote immigrant and refugee integration and citizenship. The bill provides new funding to state and local governments, private organizations, educational institutions, community-based organizations, and not-for-profit organizations to expand programs to promote integration and inclusion. Increase English language instruction and provide assistance to individuals seeking to become citizens. The whole thing is they can't integrate, right? These people cannot integrate into our communities. Well, there was stuff in this one to help them do just that and learn English. There you go. Grow our economy. Bill clears employment-based visa backlogs, recaptures unused visas, reducing lengthy wait times, and eliminates per-country visa caps. The bill makes it easier for graduates of U.S. universities with advanced STEM degrees to stay in the United States, improves access to green cards for workers in lower wage sectors, etc. Protect workers from exploitation, improve the employment verification process. This would be for farm workers. This would be the policy that they would put forward in terms of farm workers. Bill requires the DHS and the Department of Labor establish a commission involving labor, employer, and civil rights organizations to make recommendations for improving the employment verification process. Workers who suffer serious labor violations and cooperate with worker protection agencies will be granted greater access to U visa relief. The bill protects workers who are victims of workplace retaliation from deportation in order to allow labor agencies to interview these workers. It also protects migrant and seasonal workers and increases penalties for employers who violate labor law. Here's another reason why this bill did not pass. There's another reason why Republicans are against this bill. It increases penalties for employers who violate labor laws. Now, it is against labor laws to hire undocumented immigrants. Prioritize smart border control. Supplement existing border resources with technology and infrastructure. That would be, like ground radar, seismic sensors. That would be, night vision goggles and infrared cameras. That would be like, motion sensors, that kind of stuff. Airports eventually includes high throughput scanning technology to ensure all commercial and passenger vehicles and freight rail traffic entering the United States at ports of entry along the border undergo pre-primary scanning, which is the stuff that, this is why when you go from like Vegas to Los Angeles, and when I drive back and forth, you go through one of these, do you have any fruit stands, you know, where they make sure you're not bringing fruit from one state to the other, back from, it's like an age-old thing when we used to have different standards for safety, and we've aligned a lot of those things, so it's not as necessary anymore. But they're like, how would they know if somebody's just driving through? They've already picked out your car miles ago. By the time you get to that gate, they're just looking for your license plate. They've already decided they're pulling you over based on shit they saw when you left town. Just for the record. This is the same kind of thing, pre-primary scanning. Also authorizes and provides funding for plans to improve infrastructure or ports of entry to enhance the ability to process asylum seekers and detect, interdict, disrupt, and prevent narcotics from entering the United States. This was already there, and again, you know, Republicans are against it. It authorized the DHS to develop and implement strategy to manage and secure the southern border between ports of entry that focus on flexible solutions and technologies that expand the ability to detect illicit activity, evaluate the effectiveness of border security operations, and be easily relocated and broken out by Border Patrol sector. To protect privacy, the DHS Inspector General is authorized to conduct oversight to ensure that employed technology effectively serves legitimate agency purposes, so the guys aren't just using it to look down women's shirts as they drive through in traffic. Manage the border and protect border communities. Crack down on criminal organizations. The bill enhances the ability to prosecute individuals involved in smuggling and trafficking networks who are responsible for the exploitation of migrants. It also expands investigations, intelligence collection, and analysis pursuant to the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act to increase sanctions against foreign narcotics traffickers, their organizations, and networks. The bill also requires the FBI, Drug Enforcement Agency, and DHS, in coordination with Secretary of State, to improve and expand transnational anti-gang task forces in Central America. Addresses the root causes of migration. This is the part the vice president was starting to work on. Start from the source. I can say that. Source. The bill codifies and funds the president's $4 billion 4-year interagency plan to address the underlying causes of migration in the region, which is when they went down there and they discovered that Steve Bannon and people like him were placing ads in South American newspapers saying the border is wide open. Come on up. Improve the immigration courts to protect vulnerable individuals. The bill expands family case management programs, reduce immigration court backlogs, etc. Support asylum seekers and other vulnerable populations. The bill eliminates the 1-year deadline for filing asylum claims and provides funding to reduce asylum application backlogs. That means that this is the same thing that was in the second bill, but so that it's not years and years, it's 90 days. It also increases protections for U visa, T visa, and VAWA applicants, including by raising the cap on U visas from 10,000 to 30. The bill also expands protections for foreign nationals assisting U.S. troops. This would also be this was adding civ protection to the Afghans that helped us. So that's the primary aspects of that first bill they put through. Very little difference, by the way, between this and the bipartisan bill that worked out with Langford and the rest of them. Just saying, for the record.